In the late 80s, Nintendo was on top of the gaming world. The NES had revitalized the industry, selling millions of units worldwide. But technology was advancing, and a new era of gaming was emerging. One that required more power, more colors, and deeper gameplay experiences. This is the story of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. As the NES dominated the late 80s, competitors were gearing up for the next leap in gaming. In 1988, Sega released the Mega Drive or Genesis in North America, boasting 16-bit graphics and arcade-quality sound. Nintendo knew they had to respond. Development of a successor to the NES was already underway in Japan, led by legendary designer Masayuki Uemura, the mind behind the original Famicom. On November 21, 1990, the Super Famicom launched in Japan to massive demand, selling out its initial stock within hours. Nearly a year later, on August 23, 1991, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES, arrived in North America, bringing with it some of the most legendary games in history. Unlike the NES, which faced an uphill battle in America, the SNES had instant momentum. But there was a problem. The Sega Genesis had a 2-year head start and was aggressively marketed towards older players with its Genesis Does What Nintendo Don't campaign. The console wars had officially begun. Despite the competition, the SNES made a bold statement with Super Mario World as its launch title, showcasing colorful, detailed graphics, tight platforming, and an expansive world that pushed gaming to new heights. But what made the SNES such a leap forward? Under its sleek design, the Super Nintendo was packed with powerful technology that set a new standard for console gaming. At the heart of the SNES was the Ricoh 5822 processor, based on the 16-bit WDC 65C816 architecture. Running at 3.58 MHz, it wasn't the fastest CPU of its generation, since the Genesis had a faster clock speed. But Nintendo made up for it with superior graphics and sound capabilities. The SNES's picture processing unit allowed for an incredible 32,768 colors, displaying up to 256 on-screen at a time. It also introduced Mode 7, a revolutionary graphics feature that enabled games to create rotating and scaling effects, perfect for racing games like F-Zero and cinematic sequences in Final Fantasy VI. One of the SNES's most impressive features was its sound. Powered by the Sony SPC700 sound chip, the console had 8 audio channels and could produce music nearing CD quality, far beyond its competitors at the time. This allowed composers like Koji Kondo, Nobuo Uematsu, and David Wise to craft some of the most unforgettable soundtracks in gaming history. Nintendo also refined its controller design. The SNES pad introduced 4 face buttons, A, B, X, and Y, and 2 shoulder buttons, L and R, setting the standard for modern controllers. Accessories like the Super Scope, mouse, and multi-tap expanded its capabilities even further. With its powerful hardware, the SNES became home to some of the greatest games ever made. RPGs flourished with Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, and Earthbound. Action-adventure games reached new heights with Super Metroid and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And Street Fighter II made the SNES the go-to console for fighting game fans. Despite the Genesis' strong start, the SNES ultimately outsold its rival, moving over 49 million units worldwide. While Sega targeted older audiences, Nintendo's diverse library ensured long-term success, keeping the SNES relevant well into the late 90s. The Super Nintendo remains one of the most beloved consoles of all time. Its games continue to influence modern design, and its legacy lives on through re-releases, emulation, and even new SNES-compatible hardware in the retro gaming community. With the SNES, Nintendo cemented its place as the king of gaming. But as the 90s came to an end, a new frontier was on the horizon: 3D gaming. Join me next time as we explore the history of the Nintendo 64.